Kever's Voice. KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Now, you can't live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
Majesty is a premium health and wellness tea line focused on bringing delicious yet healthy tea blends to the community. Filled with an abundance of vitamins and antioxidants, we work to blend teas with exotic spices and fruits to produce scrumptious and wholesome beverages. So check us out at mymajesties.com. That's MyMajesties.com. My Majesties, an Urban Passport member.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant. Authentic.
Hey, what's happening? Welcome to Random Thoughts with DVP. Y'all know who I am. I'm the host. I am DVP. Today is the 6th of May. And it is 6:05. Welcome. This is what we're doing. We're trying to lose something. What's going on with JBN? For those of y'all who came early, I hope y'all saw the commercial. If you want to advertise on the show, reach out to me or reach out to my JBN. Type the link. They should go in there if they want to advertise for me, Roy. And today we're going to talk about prenups, cohabitation, and whatever else seemed to cross my mind. But let me get the political stuff out the way first, so we can get to the good portion of the show. I have seen the video, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have. And if you know me, you know how I do the show. I will make a comment. I will do a post. I will probably do a 10 or 15 minute live on it to give you my thoughts. I just need a little bit more information. But let me just say this based off what I've seen so far. I'm not knocking you or your religion, but at some point, we got to stop praying for everything to go away. At some point, we have to have a call to action. At some point, we have to realize that our power is in numbers, and we have to act upon that. Now, I've seen some reckless posts and careless posts, and you can feel how you want to feel, and I'm cool with that. But I see people sharing these guys' addresses, which is reckless. Because understand how the law goes. If you're promoting violence and it can be traced back to you, you become a party to the crime. And it's almost a coward's way of asking somebody to do something that you won't do. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be done with this subject for right now. We knew where Zimmerman was. He never avoided the spotlight or anybody. And nobody did anything to him. So let's stop acting like it's a bunch of warriors out there who are out to defend us. At some point, Prayer ain't doing what it's supposed to do. Us whining and bitching and moaning ain't doing what it's supposed to do. Let's have a call to action. And as I told y'all before, this happened in February. It's just now coming out. At some point, the judges, the district attorneys, all of these are elected officials. Know where your power is. As we call out everybody's name and people putting up the shooters' names, ain't nobody putting up the judge's name, or in this case, the DA's name, who chose not to prosecute at the time until this video came out. So at some point, we have to realize where we're weak at. We like bitching. We like moaning and groaning. We like complaining. We like praying. Those have not worked for us. At some point, we have to exercise our authority. But I get it, because for those of you who believe that we can't be racist because we don't have no power, you're giving away your power by that dumb statement. So you realize you think you can't do nothing but go to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and just bitch about it. But elections are coming up. Judges are elected. District attorneys are elected. If they're not suiting with our needs, move them out. Move them out. Ain't no need to keep coming there and talking about, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, and this is all. Oh, and you're right, Joseph. I'm not saying stop praying, but that can't be the only response to everything that happens, that we got to pray for this. Everybody's not religious. That just ain't the catch-all, because we've been praying for years. We've been praying for years, and it ain't stopped certain things. We have to have a call to action. We have to do something to make our voices heard in unison.
Hey, D, you hear me?
People are saying, I ain't going to be satisfied if they go to jail. Well, they're going to go to jail. But jail is not where you want them. Prison is where you want them. And we get satisfied too easily when people give us a little something that's bogus. Because if they don't appropriately charge them and appropriately try them, then in 4 or 5 years, it'll all be gone again. And we'll still be doing the same thing, complaining about what's wrong with the system, even though the system is technically us. If you look at what happened with the governor, Stacey Abrams lost, but look at how many of us didn't vote. There was almost 50% of us that didn't vote. I'm not sure what county it is. It's Brunswick. So maybe Muskogee County, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that. But Brunswick is I think is where it happened at.
Okay.
And at some point we got to stop being victims and sitting back crying, and we gotta exercise. And don't get me wrong, I want you to vote. I want you to vote in the major elections, but you gotta vote in your local elections. Your mayors, your councilmen, your police chiefs. These are the people who affect you on a regular basis. What happens in DC really doesn't affect a lot of us on a regular basis. What happens to our kids in school? What happens to our neighborhoods? These are things that our local politicians have to do, and we can't keep running from that responsibility and, wearing that little proud Pete saying, I voted. But we don't know what we voted for, who we voted for, or why we voted for them. That's something that we got to do. It's Glenn County. Thank you, my Drake. And that's what we got to concentrate on. We got to concentrate our efforts on being heard, being effective, and more importantly, finding people who represent at least 80-20 what we want. And they can't just keep letting people go because of whatever. I mean, luckily this video got out and something's going to be done, because like I said, this happened in February. Most of us knew nothing about it. Now everybody want to be up in arms, like I said, posting their addresses and stuff. Read what the law says. If you're promoting violence, you are a party to that crime. And you can put up whatever defense you want to. But be responsible. Be responsible. Let's do better. Let's be better. And that starts with 2 simple things: being accountable and responsible at the same time. Let's stop waiting for other people to do stuff for us. Let's stop waiting and hoping that somebody's going to say something for us. Speak up. Speak up. Speak up and speak out. All right? Andrea, make sure you get your boy in here. I couldn't tag him because we're not friends. And I'm glad you saw that link where you could hook on and come on in. I want to say hello to everybody. What's going on, Joseph? Thank you for coming back. I appreciate I met you earlier. CB, what's going on? Roy, as always, my super producer.
Wow, it's been a long time since I heard that.
I hope that you will have a time like this. Oh yeah, Joseph, you knew, but part of my 2020 theme is accountability and responsibility on a bunch of different levels. So I'll always talk about that because I can't. It saddens me to know that we keep giving away our power, or that we don't ever want to be accountable. But everybody's grown, but we don't want to take accountability for decisions we make. And we all make bad decisions. At some point, you just have to say, "Yeah, I made a bad decision," and keep moving. What's up, Odessa? Hey, Yolanda. And without that, we're gonna always be at the mercy of other people. If everything is somebody else's fault and it's never our fault, if a relationship didn't work, I got to take some accountability and responsibility. Maybe I picked the wrong woman. Maybe I wasn't a good dude. I can't just keep blaming her. And this goes up and up the ladder on what we do. And this is one of those things that we got to do. All right. So, with that being said, as they say in showbiz, without further ado, let's get into the meat of it. And don't get it twisted. I will have some more serious shows where I talk about really serious things. And Joseph, you just meet me. Nice to meet you. If it's something you want me to talk about, shoot me an inbox and I'll do some research on it and talk about it. I like to talk about things that I have a little knowledge about. And for those things that I don't, now that I'm teaming up with my JBN and Roy, I can have guests in who can speak more eloquently about things I'm not well versed on. That way I can still keep you guys informed, hopefully entertained, and we can move forward in a progressive and productive way without always trying to preach violence or just speaking on ignorance because we don't know no better and passing misinformation. Oh, and let me say this too before I go. There is no order from the governor. There is no order in the states that stops evictions. What it does is limit evictions for people who live in government housing or who have government loans. So if you're not part of the I think it's Fannie Mae or Sallie Mae, or if you don't have a government loan, you can still be evicted. There's nothing that the governor put out that says that you can't be. Their courts are still going on. Your mayors don't have the authority to stop their process. Only the governor, the sheriff, and the Superior Court judge. That's it. Don't be fooled by nothing else. Don't be fooled by these people telling you that you ain't got to pay mortgage. Lots of banks and stuff are doing forgiveness and letting you defer some payments, but you have to call them and tell them that that's what you need to do. All right. Now, because I got to work later on, let me just share this now. Hey, Miss V, this is my glass. You know, it's a different one. You can find these glasses at Little Things on Facebook. You got the monogram, the bejeweled. There's no space to drink from. So check out Little Things. Get you one. Get you two. I'm gonna type in the thing for you.
I'll do that. Continue with your discussion.
Oh, okay. I got in trouble. I can hear you. So, without further ado, we're gonna talk about prenups, cohabitation, and other random thoughts. So, first, I'm gonna do them in the order that they should be done in. I'm gonna do cohabitation first. Okay. Actually, let's start with relationships 103. I'm amazed at how many of us let people tell us what we want from a relationship. That has got to be one of the most misguided things going on today. Nobody can tell you what you need, or what you desire. And the best example I can give you is based on, and we haven't talked in a minute, but my super producer, Roy, dates with a purpose. Roy wants to be married. I'm not opposed to the idea, but I'm not looking. That wasn't my forward focus. I got some other things I want to do to get to marriage, and I'm sure Roy wants to get there. But I think Roy is only going to date women he sees who have a marriage potential. Is that a fair thought, Roy?
Yes, I will only date those who feel like I will only date them if I feel like they're going to be marriage potential. Correct.
Right. Whereas I typically want to date.
We may hang out and stuff.
I have typically dated for fun first and see what comes. I was a serial dater. Roy doesn't do serial dating. And that's one of the things. I can't tell Roy what works for him. Roy can't tell me what worked for me. You have to know what you're looking for and go from there. So when you start the dating process, you have to know what it is you're doing, why you're doing it. Whatever works for you works for you. Now, people can tell you what they did and what works for them, but nobody should tell you what you should do, because that to me, it's condescending to think that you know my life enough to tell me what I should be doing. What's going on, Team EMI? Ernest Moore is in the house. So when you're looking to date, know what kind of dating you want to do. What are you upgradable to? Where are you in the mental process? Are you dating for companionship? Are you dating to avoid being alone? And a lot of people date to avoid being alone. They just don't want to admit it. And this is fine. You only got to admit this to yourself. Are you dating to be married? Because some people truly do want to be married. I've met women who's like, yeah, I'm only going to date for a year and we got to be married by then, or at least engage in planning a marriage. If that's what works for them, I'm going to tie it on the show. If that's what works for them, then that's what works for them. Who is anybody else to tell them what they should or shouldn't do? Remember last week, hey Fontella, I talked about this whole why buy the cow and you can get the milk for free, dumbass saying. But if that's what you believe in, then you got to do what works for you. All right. So the first part of dating is knowing who you are and what you want and what you bring to the table. Or can you think you can do the poll now about cohabitation? And what I want to do is I want to take a quick break so Roy can put up the poll so we can see how you guys feel about cohabitation. Should you live together before marriage or no? So we're gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna see if Roy can get that up, and we're gonna come back. All right. So give me a few seconds, and we'll be right back.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
The Creole seasoning is a sodium-free and sugar-free blend that's versatile enough to put on anything. One of the first blends I developed more than 8 years ago, the Creole seasoning has an unmistakable aroma, a bold flavor, and a little heat for character. Every time
All right, we back. So you should have a poll up that says, would you live together before marriage? And I just want to know what your thoughts are about that. For me, I wouldn't have it any other way. And we can talk about the old school days. And these aren't the old days. Life is way different. We aren't our grandparents. Life is not like it was back then. We have to acknowledge that in the good old days, women didn't have a lot of job opportunity. Okay, it's 3-2-1. Oh, thanks. Oh, if you watch for Calais, man, do your job. Do your job. I don't want you to miss no pay there. I might need to borrow some money. Um, but we can't keep acting like this is the good old days. It's not. Women didn't have the same employment opportunities 30, 40, 50 years ago. So yeah, it was more important for them, and it was just a different time. Uh, Everybody wasn't willy nilly with sex and having unprotected sex and getting everybody pregnant. You didn't have the same rate of fatherless homes 50, 60, 70 years ago that we're starting to have now, because we took sex a little bit more serious. We definitely took relationships a lot more serious, but those were the times we had to. So it was what it was. Now, and I posted this on a few pages and a few groups, and I've heard varying responses about should you or should you not do the cohabitation. Hey, area. But like I said, this is a different time. Women, if we're being honest, women don't need us like they used to. In the good old days, most women didn't live at home with their parents once they passed a certain age. They were expected to get out. So they needed a husband, or else they would bring shame on the family, which is going to be a whole nother show. Why we don't take honor in the family name. But Ari, what do you think? Do you believe in living together before marriage? Joseph, what about you? Do you believe in getting married? I mean, do you believe in cohabitation before marriage? And for me, yeah, I think it's really important that you know about each other, because whether we accept it or not in this microwave society, divorce is so easy. So prevalent, even though the statistics say divorce is going down. I ain't sure what Corona got to say about that at the end of the day, because Corona is disrespectful to everybody. Oh yeah, I'm gonna tie my tie while I'm doing this, and I can't even see because it ain't real time. So now it's just a different animal. So Ari, what do you say? Would you cohabitate? Joseph, you married? Would you live with her before you got married? Roy, I don't even know what you think about that. Would you
Yes, I
believe in
would.
living together first?
Yeah, I would, because again, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me? Okay. Yeah. So for me, man, I mean, it is. It's one of those situations that, because like I said, as you so eloquently stated, I am dating with the purpose of getting married. Now, more than likely, I've already established if I'm interested into them, I'm already dating them. So for me to move in with them would actually be a natural step, because you know me, I'm trying to do this whole change the world thing. I got a vision and a plan, and so I need to incorporate whoever I'm going to be involved with in that, because now I'm changing my day-to-day life being involved with them and stuff anyway. So yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem. I mean, listen, it's one thing when you're talking about people who are in their 20s and 30s not needing to do that. But look, we good and grown, dog. I mean, you need to know, because y'all can spend every day over at somebody's house, and it'd be real cool. Why is that? Because you can always go home when you get mad.
Always.
And you don't never know who somebody really is until you live with them and you stuck with them when you mad.
And one of the drawbacks, the legitimate drawbacks that I saw is and I'm gonna use Ariel because I know her. If me and Ariel decide to live together, if we have a knockdown drag out, let's just say Ariel moves in with me. Ariel has to have the subconscious fear that I may put her out, and then she won't have nowhere to go. I will say that is a legitimate fear. But then you really got to wonder about the person that you're cohabitating with, because even if the relationship doesn't work out, the two of you should be able to have an exit plan. It doesn't involve you getting up and getting the fuck out right now. But that's part of the challenge. With that, and which is why I ain't gonna do wifey duty statements, because I don't understand what wifey duties are. When you're seriously dating, if in Roy's case where he's dating with a true purpose, I do believe now, if I'm a serial dater, once I choose to have somebody move in with me, we become a serious couple, and we are committed. and I choose my words carefully because I know a lot of people believe in different lifestyles. So whether you're committed and monogamous or whatever, committed is the most important word to me because everybody doesn't believe in the same thing. But you have to be committed to make this process work. So if you're going to be in a committed relationship, which to me is what the moving in is, you're both auditioning for each other. There's just really no other way around it because now I need to see you in your natural state. You know, one of the things that people talk about is how guys change. And I'm going to stand strong in that women change more. Women change before guys most of the time because, and this is the best example I can give you. When we're in the dating phase, ladies, you ain't going to let me see you without your hair done. Remember them first couple of times we came to the house and you still had makeup on or curls? You made me stand outside. You wouldn't even open the door. Once we get into a real relationship, you'll let me see you without your makeup on, without your wig. You do all kind of different things. So to me, women change quicker. I mean, dudes, if you come over our house and we ain't ready yet, I don't know why y'all come to get us, but you know, it happens. We'll let you in before we finish doing our beard or whatever. We'll just take you to the living room, but we ain't gonna make you stand outside because we don't want you to see us like this. So women, y'all do change first. Let's see. Yolanda says, I'm not moving in without my name on a lease or contract. And that's fine. If y'all gonna get an apartment together, and the problem comes if both of y'all have houses. Because you're gonna see it's a waste of money. It's a waste of finances. I'm use Yolanda now because she brought this up. But if I have my house and Yolanda has her house, but we spending 80% of the time at the other one's house, we're not doing the group economics thing where we're not building together because we're spending money in two different places, which kind of takes away from the building process. So these are things that you have to take into consideration when you decide this. You know, do we mutually agree that we're gonna get a third place? Yolanda sells her place and I sell my place. But who knows who's gonna buy what at what time? How does that work? These are conversations, and this is probably the first real conversation that you gotta have if you're looking towards building and doing this cohabitation. Because to me, cohabitation is a super serious step if it's done for a relationship. And if it's just some friends with benefits or roommate stuff y'all talking about, then this doesn't apply to you. Because if we just kicking it and we happen to start liking each other, that's a whole different scenario. I mean, when cohabitation is, for those of you who believe in it, is a step prior to the I do. Let's see. Joseph says earlier when you mentioned how we need to stop praying, it's time to step up actions. This goes so strong when it comes to this topic. And Joseph, don't get me wrong. And you have to go with what you believe in. And everybody has a different religion. Everybody has a different way of doing things. And this is one of my discrimination things. Whatever works for you, let it work for you, and let people. Whatever works for somebody. If pulling a horse's hair works for them and make you have a great day, let them do that. I think it's crazy, but I ain't got to live that life. And this is where we have to know what works for us. And this is why these conversations are so needed when we start talking about cohabitation. Too many times, I think people cohabitate strictly because of their sexual urges. And just because you like having sex with somebody doesn't mean you want to live with them. Especially in the beginning when you probably don't have a super big place where each one of y'all can go your own space. Home.
Yeah.
You know, if you got a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, there's really not a lot of places for y'all to avoid each other. So this is, for me, this is where a serious conversation needs to be had about when we start this cohabitation, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? What's the game plan? What are we looking forward to? And then, you know, you play it by ear. Some people give timelines. I'm not a big timeline fan, but I do understand why some people want to give them, because you don't want to do the same thing forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Unless some people are cool with the concept of being happy, and some people fear that piece of paper. That piece of paper has turned many a good relationship into a contest, and some people are truly afraid of that piece of paper. Men and women both. So their ultimate goal is not marriage. Their ultimate goal is just to be happy. And if they can be happy with what they got going, who are we to knock them? It's easy for me to talk to Russ because I can hear him and get instant feedback. But how many of you Okay, Roy, if she doesn't want to get married, but you guys are happy, but for whatever reason she doesn't, does she become undateable, or is she got to be replaced?
Oh man. No, I mean, because so listen, everything is relative, and based on the situation and the individuals and the people. If I'm kicking it with somebody, and we're and like you said, she's happy, then as long as we've got the commitment, because the people, listen, we all at this age realize that piece of paper really ain't nothing but that, if that's all they want it to be. So
Right.
if I feel like she's not gonna do anything, and she says, I want to be with you, but for whatever traumatic reason, and I'm just gonna assume it's some traumatic reason that she no longer wants to be married, she doesn't want to get married again, I'm willing to deal with that, as long as I'm not worried about her stepping out.
Right.
As long as we're committed, monogamous, then yeah, we can just live together and be a couple. But I have to know in my heart that she's not trying to stay single just so she can so that she can just do what what she want to do. But
Right.
I could do that.
And like Area said, it's all about living in harmony. And Barbara says at this stage in life, she want to be happy. So if you can be happy without that piece of paper, how important is that paper? Because some people, as they get older, the paper becomes less important, and it's all about
Well,
Shirley said she has the paper and she loves it. Oh, as a matter of fact, you know what? Roy, can we give out a number? If any of you guys want to call in, let me know, and I'll send you the number where you can call in.
yeah,
Or
inbox.
say it again.
So yeah, send them the number in the inbox.
If that doesn't mean marriage, then you're good with that, right? And that's where you have to look at things. All right, Little Thing says being married doesn't stop someone from stepping out and doing what they want to do, right? And that's why we talked about the commitment is more important than anything else.
Right.
We don't want to just do it just for the sake of going. The paper is a legal document, and I understand what the paper does. The paper allows you to have certain things because, and this call it what you want to. A lot of us don't have wills, and that paper cuts down on a lot of things. If somebody were to pass away, certain things just happen automatically when you die. If you don't have that paper and you don't have a will, the other partner can't end up being left out in the rain.
Right.
Calandra says, now I'm not cohabitating with you to 10, 12 years without marriage. No, not doing it. See, so and everybody has a different perspective, and a lot of it is based on how old we are and what our experiences are. And that's why I say, we got to keep saying what somebody's too old for, because we don't all have the same experiences. I think I'm older than you, right, Roy?
Yeah. Not much, but yes.
Yeah, it don't matter. Hey, as long as I'm one day. So me and Roy come from two different lifestyles, and we have two different experiences. So even though we may be close in age, our outlook on lots of things are not the same because we don't have the same experience. So when people keep saying, "Oh, at this age a man should be doing this," at this age a man should be doing that, you can't base it on age. You have to base it on experience level. Because if somebody's been married, I'm 54. Let's just say I got married out of high school and I was married for 35 years, which would put me 38, 18, would put me at 53. What would I really know about dating? What would I really know about a lot of things? But people say, "Oh, you old enough, you should know this, you should know that." How would I know this if I've never experienced it? Because I've been in one relationship for X amount of years, and people base that on a lot of different things. All right, let's see. We got questions popping up right here. Y'all think y'all cute. What about partnership? I've heard people refer to each other as partners in a home together. Right, Ty, and that's whatever works for them. And that's what you have to look at. And that's why I say you can't let other people tell you how you should live your life. You got to do what works best for you and the person who is your partner. Because at the end of the day, I truly do believe marriage, a successful marriage, is 40% business, if not more. Because it's a business arrangement. Shirley said her paper almost 41 years old. Oh, you was back there when they signed the Declaration of Independence, weren't you, Shirley? All right, Little Thing says, how do I feel about marriage at this age? At this age, Little Things, I am not opposed to marriage. There was a time when I truly was opposed to it. It's all about the conversation. It's all about where we're headed, what we're willing to give up. what we're willing to give up. What are we going to do together, and go from there.
So,
but it's a conversation that needs to be had.
So D, let me jump in on something you said there.
Billy was married at 17.
Yeah. So here's my thing, and I'm kind of in that whole situation that you were talking about. I started dating my ex-wife my 3rd year in college, and so we got married. And we were together a total of like 15 years. I came out of that into this whole new digital dating age and was completely lost and confused. I had no idea on what dating was, because dating had changed so much from when I was single and in college to being a grown man now with kids, and all this other stuff that goes along with it. And so that's why when we talked about it, you talk about having different experiences. I'll be 50 this year. So you got me, there's like 4 years. So it isn't a whole lot. But that change, man, that's one of the purposes of me saying I'm dating with a purpose, because I know I found out enough now that I hate dating. Dating in itself is a frustrating and aggravating ass process. It's too much nonsense that you got to go through at this point. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. I'm still trying to make some other changes. So like I said, it depends on our experiences, but that all, that makes a difference.
And the crazy thing is, and I ain't gonna get too off topic, the crazy thing is when I was younger, dating meant me coming to pick you up, me taking you back home. In this new age with crazy dudes and crazy women, yeah, it's almost insane for us not to meet at a neutral place. You drive, I drive. See, that's unheard of. I don't even think I could deal with that process of I'm a Southern gentleman. I'm supposed to come pick you up. I'm supposed to open the door for you. I'm supposed to take you somewhere. We go somewhere nice and chill and quiet and eat and talk to see what we're vibing like. And I take you back home. I make sure you get in the house. Then I get in my car and go back. You may or may not call me and talk to me on the phone to make sure I get home. And then we go from there. Dating is nothing like that now. I would be so, it's like, this whole Netflix and chill thing, it's insane. And don't get me wrong now, I ain't saying I'm a saint. I have had one night stands and all this other stuff. But I never call those dates. They were what they were. Dating is so loosely referred to now. And that's why I said some people who are cohabitating are doing it strictly for the sex. They don't have any intentions on doing anything long term. They are playing the whole thing by ear. And to me, that's kind of crazy. Because to me, again, and this is where everybody has to have a conversation. When you start the cohabitating process, and this is where a lot of people get in trouble. Without the conversation, are we really working on a committed relationship, or are we cohabitating for convenience and employing group economics? Because these are two separate things altogether. They can be confusing without a conversation, because a lot of women say, oh, he did this and I thought this, because sometimes we say actions speak louder than words. And for the most part, I will agree with that. But you have to know what's going on, Brenda. You have to know what the actions are truly saying. See, you can need a ride, and I can come and give you a ride. Does that make me a good dude? All depends. I can give you a ride and you need a ride, and it can seem like that. But if I'm giving you a ride because I want to be predatory, I had a super ulterior motive because I want you to get in debt to me. Sometimes actions that seem good are not as good as they seem. They have a backstory to them. And this is the thing that we have to pay attention to. Congratulations on your graduation, Brenda. What's up, Lyle? Mr. 976 in the house. I'm trying to catch up on some of these comments. Does anybody want to call in and say anything to me? Let me know. And Roy will send you a number to call. Right, Ariel. Some people do get married for the sake of being married, and it's not an easy task, because at the end of the day, love will not carry a marriage through. You have to take it as a business, because there will be times when you don't have that same gazy, starry look. It's called limerence. When you're not there, when y'all working on each other's nerves. You love each other, but you don't really like each other. And we have to understand that. What's up, LA Pink, Real Kings Rock LA Pink, prices $5. Shameless commercial ad. And if we were to define relationship with others, we need their input also. Right. You can't define your couple's relationship without the other person's input. And I was saying, Joseph, this is why I hate when people say, "Oh, I ain't never changing." Well, if you ain't never changing, you need to stay alone, because when I was truly a single man, and I'm not single now, but when I was a single man living by myself, I only had to worry about how I felt and what I want. Now that I'm in a committed relationship, I have to worry about, as the man, as the head of household, I have to worry about the needs of the family. I can't just put my needs first. There are things I want to do, but I brought my girl down here with her 2 kids. I have to put their needs above mine. So that's a change. When I first started doing shows with Roy, it was just me. I could do whatever I wanted to. I could flirt with whoever I wanted to. I could go home with whoever I wanted to. I can't do that now. So, well, that ain't a change. It is a change, because before I only had to worry about me. So when people say they don't want to change, they're gonna be them. That to me is kind of a BS statement. That they're not flexible enough to be in a relationship. Because being in a relationship means that sometimes you're gonna do things that you don't want to do, but they're good for the team. So you do them.
Hey, I got to jump in on that. Actually, I want to jump in on something that Miss Bennett, or Miss Barrett, I'm sorry, or Barnett area. Is that how you said her name?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, she says some folks get married for the sake of being married. It's not an easy task. You have to love your significant other. Number disappeared. Love your significant other like you love your siblings. Must have an unbreakable bond. So, and this kind of goes with what you just said. Like when we first started this, I've always dated with the purpose that I want to, I'm dating because I want to get married to somebody. But just like I've always said, the one thing I'm not gonna do is jump into something just to be in it. Because I know too many people that jump into relationships and get in there. They're like, I know some folks that be in love with somebody new every 6 months. Oh, the new love of my life. It's like, oh, hell no.
I'm thinking 6 weeks.
Right. But then, that's one of the things too, I think that a lot of people are doing. They're jumping in these relationships and they're doing all this stuff, talking about something they love. Like you said, you really don't know that you love somebody until they piss you off or until they need something from you that you normally don't want to give.
Right. And one of the things I always say is you really don't know if you want to be in a relationship with somebody till you had at least 2 arguments where y'all should have broke up, but y'all chose to fight through it. Because you need those tests of time. And when everything is good, yeah, in situationally speaking, 6 months is when the honeymoon phase is. You got to get past that 6 months. Have some knockdown dragouts to see, are y'all still do I hate you enough at this moment that I still love you and want to work this out? I just need to sleep and get past this, or am I really gonna pack my shit and go? Until you have 2 or 3 of those pack your shit and go moments, but you don't. That's when you can start taking a relationship to the next level, because now in this microwave society, the first sign of stress, your partner's not gonna run out on you. And that's just one of my beliefs. Because I hear people say, "Oh, me and my so-and-so, we never argue." I ain't knocking you, but to me that means y'all don't care. Because there's no way 2 passionate people can always agree on everything or even disagree harmoniously. Sometimes the other party's just gonna raise their voice. That's just my opinion. But most people who I know that have been married over 7 years will tell you they've had these knockdown dragouts where they didn't want to talk to each other, where they didn't want to speak, but they weren't going nowhere. So I just generally don't trust people who say they've been married X amount of years and never said a harsh word or never. Okay, I ain't gonna call you a lie. I question your marriage.
Now, D, I'm gonna say while you're reading those comments, I'm gonna say something to that, because I think that has a lot to do with the individuals though that are in those relationships, and I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Now, I didn't get to 7 years and not do one, but literally the first 4 years that I was married, we didn't have any arguments. But then again, I'm a non-combative person. You know that. That's one of the things you know about me. It's like I will avoid confrontation because I know how I am in confrontations. So there were some times that we probably could have had some arguments that I was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. You good on that one. You right. And the funny thing is, in our marriage counseling, that was one of the things that the pastor said. The pastor looked at me and actually said, it was funny because he looked at me when he said it. He said, there are going to be times where each one of y'all going to have to not worry about being right to keep the peace. So that was something I know for me that ended up happening. But, you know, like I said, it took 3 years. It literally took us 3, maybe 4 years before we had one of those, okay, you know what? I can't talk to you right now. Like you said, I love you, but right now I don't like you.
Right. And you know, that's one of the things where you just gotta, you gotta know where you at. And it requires more. Calandra said, unfortunately, I think there will be a lot of divorces behind this pandemic. People actually find out who they are married to. I think they knew. I think they're gonna find out who they truly are. Because Corona is disrespectful, and a lot of us are learning more about ourselves and our partners. Some of us aren't who we said we were, and we're not built for. It's easy to love somebody when y'all got y'all separate space, but for those who had to quarantine with a partner, they truly quarantined. They were pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 weeks. A lot of people, you know, end up doing the Ozzy and Harriet thing, sleeping in different beds, and for some people, it made them closer. It's going to be interesting what comes out of, you know, the corona marriages or the corona destruction. Brenda says, when you are in a committed relationship, the statement goes move from I to me, I and me to us and we, right? Because you have to start speaking in those terms, especially, and this is where I talk about accountability and responsibility. As the man, if you want to be the head of household king or whatever BS role we like calling ourselves to make ourselves feel better, we have to step up and project that. You can't keep doing things that you want to do. You got to do things for us. You got to do things for the we. Normally, if you chose wisely, the woman will come along without a fight. Now, if you chose unwisely, you're going to get a lot. Why she ain't doing this? Well, we call those clues. Maybe you ain't doing as good a job as you thought, and that's where the conversations have to start coming in. And we have to have actual communication. But we got to be accountable and responsible. And once you accept that, Roy just said that his wife would start stuff, and because he didn't want to go there because of his nature, he didn't argue a lot. And depending on where you are in the situation, that can be good or bad, because if you don't say something, they may not think that it's a problem. And they take, you know, it kind of goes downhill from there.
Oh, now hold up. Now I ain't say I ain't get stuff straight. I just said I didn't engage in argument. I know what you're saying, but no, you're right. You gotta let people know.
Yeah, because sometimes they take the passive aggressiveness for I can just do whatever I want to, or you don't care, and it can turn it downhill. But you do have to learn how to disagree. You have to learn how to disagree. You have to learn how to value somebody's opinion. Whether you have to learn to respect other people's opinion, whether you like it or not. One of the things that I like to talk about is Trina can tell me something that I totally disagree with, but what I can't do, I can't tell Trina how she feels. Trina may have misconstrued what I put out there, but I have to understand when she's telling me how she felt about it. Because even though it may not have been my intent, I have to accept how she perceived it, and I have to correct that perception. I can't tell her, oh, you can't be mad about that. She can be mad about anything she wants to. I need to try to figure out why. And if she said because of this, then I have to look at what was going on and try to explain what my thought process was, and hopefully bring her back down. But if she got upset about it, that's her prerogative. Mary says some folks fight childishly and vindictive. Yes, that's when the personal flaws show up. That's when you know it's time to stay or go. And it's true. And I'm going to even say some married couples will do this, because sometimes they do have a true knockdown drag out because they've been holding stuff in so long. And sometimes people know how to accept those. and it's out, it kind of makes the air a whole lot clearer, because now you ain't got to walk around holding something that you've been wanting to say. Hopefully, it ain't nothing too evil. And you know, what's up, CB? And that's the whole part of that. And the cohabitation brings a lot of this out. I personally do believe that cohabitation is necessary in the 21st century. Like I said, this ain't the 50s or the 40s or the 30s when everybody had a good intention. Some women ain't shit, some dudes ain't shit. Some women will cohabitate because they can save money, because they need a place to stay. Some dudes cohabitate because they can save money, because they need a place to stay. So one of the memes I saw, sometimes you have to look back on a relationship and understand, did a person appreciate you for your heart, or did they appreciate you for your hand? And that means, did they love you, or did they love what you were giving or doing for them? And that sometimes we get caught up in that situation, because most of us, when we start falling, we start doing stuff for people. When we lusting out there, we start doing stuff for people. They like what we're doing, thereby liking us. But they don't like us, they just like our gifts. And that's one of the things that you can miss out on, because, and I see this more with women who say, oh, for my man I do this, for my man I do that. And I ask them, you know, what's the key to becoming your man? And they don't really have a set of guidelines. In a few seconds, yeah. Women, to me, are more prone to call a man their boyfriend or dude, than dudes are to call a woman, give her a real title. They're just like, yeah, that's my little partner, that's my buddy. Women are like, yeah, that's my guy, I love him, he's my soulmate. Very few times do you see a guy claim a woman as his soulmate or his best friend. That's something that women do, and as Rob was talking about, a lot of times they do it so frequently and so often. That shit, every dude that you date is your best friend or boyfriend. But you know, we were watching the show and the guy later said, oh yeah, that's my best friend, I love everything about him except the fact he cheats. How the hell is he your best friend and lover if he cheating on you? I'm confused on how you got a best friend. So on that note, we're gonna take a quick break so I can get me a drinky drink, and we're gonna let some of the advertisers do what they do. All right, y'all know what it is. Little
Real
thing, get you one.
Seasoning is
What's
a
up, Anna?
sodium-free and sugar-free blend that's versatile enough to put on anything. One of the first blends I developed more than 8 years ago, the Creole seasoning has an unmistakable aroma, a bold flavor, and a little heat for character. Every time I open one of these bottles, I hear trumpets and big band music.
For my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching, hey, motivation.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted.
Did I get a countdown?
No, you didn't, but you're back.
Oh, okay. All right, we're getting the hang of this. He didn't give me a countdown, so I'm just looking like a hostage. What's going on, Anna? You're right. Marriage doesn't guarantee unconditional love, which is why I say I think the best marriages are probably about 40% business, because you have to understand that sometimes when you're in a relationship one of the things that happens that we don't talk about enough is that eventually you will take advantage of your partner. And this is one of the things that I explained to Trina. When I first met Trina, I would always, and I knew I was doing it because I paid attention. You always tell people how beautiful they are or how great they look or whatever it is you're going. And women say, "Well, you used to tell me this." Understand this, and it's not a bad thing when your guy stops telling you how beautiful you are. Your beautiful has become the norm. When you're dating, truly dating, and y'all in different places, he's seeing you. He's not with you 24. He's not with you 24 hours a day. So he doesn't see your beauty all the time. Once you start cohabitating and become a committed couple, I see you all the time. So your beauty becomes the norm. I'm used to this now. So even though you do little things that you think make you pretty, you're already pretty to me. I just don't keep saying it all the time now, which is why I think sometimes everybody needs to go out with their girlfriends and date, or not date. They need to go out and just hang out so they can get these little compliments, because we all need compliments, whether we admit it or not. We all like compliments. Yeah, we want them from our significant other, but you do have to realize that it becomes normal. And you have to make adjustments for this. You have to put in a little bit more work to remind your partner of the things that you're taking for granted. Which, like I said, it's almost a good thing, because then you're accepting each other. You're accepting you. I'm accepting you for all your faults. You're accepting me for all my faults. So there's no need for us to do the constant reinforcement like we did in the beginning. But that's just one of the things you have to talk about. Okay, Joe. So we're gonna talk. You might have to hook me up. But as Ariel said, a lot of people get married for the wrong reasons, and the wrong reason 9 times out of 10 is love. You gotta have more than love to keep it going, and you do have to have a true friendship. I don't think you have to be best friends, but you do have to have a true friendship. Trent, I'm sorry. Little Thing says it doesn't matter if it becomes normal or not. I would prefer to receive a compliment from my partner any day. Oh, and I'm not knocking it. I think that's always important. But what happens is eventually you get used to each other and you stop telling each other complimentary things on a daily basis because you're seeing each other every day.
So now I'm gonna jump in on that too, because that's another one of those. Again, that's people, and like you look, you follow me on Facebook, and you see the stuff I talk. We didn't talk about it actually. The other day was May the 4th. We didn't both. Although I done moved away from being a Jedi completely to something else, but we have to look at situations. There's some people, it depends on wanting to do certain things. I think that's what people have to do, and then looking at their love languages. Because like for me, I've even said it, and I've said to somebody before, you need to understand something. If we get together, like I'm looking for somebody, I had this, one of my favorite memes that I put up is say, I'm not looking for a mediocre love, I'm looking for someone to drown in. I'm an attention giver because I'm very focused with my attention. Like I don't give a lot of attention to other people. And I've had women who have been like, oh, you just saying that now and all the stuff you doing now, you gonna stop it. We be 6-7 months in and they be like, oh wow, you're still doing the same stuff. I'm that dude that'll send random texts throughout the day. Hey, beautiful, just thinking about you. Boom, boom, all that kind of stuff. So right. you got to know, one, who the person is that you're involved with, and then that person has to know what your love languages are. Right. That's part of that whole cohabitating thing.
he has a show on. They say you need your own show, boy. Yeah, and for those of y'all who are following me, this is who I started with. Even though it was Random Thoughts with DVP, and it's funny because he always swears, he ain't not gonna comment, but he knows there's some things that we like to go back and forth on, and most time that's what he does. As much as he tries to be quiet, because I don't know why he don't just do a split screen, but that's because he doesn't want to. But I
may come in after the next break. I'll come in after. I'll split the screen after the next break.
We like David Letterman, and we do good back and forth because we don't see things the same, but we have the same basic ideas. We just got different ways of getting there. But that's Roy. That's the super producer. Yeah, and If you want to advertise on the show, you see me run the commercials, just let me know. We can work out something. Yeah, we can work out a package where we can advertise. Put you on the commercial breaks. So yeah, as we're dealing with the cohabitation thing, this is something that needs a real discussion needs to be had about, and where everybody is and how everybody feels about it. And you have to be in line with your partner if y'all are going to have a goal, and you need to keep track of this goal to see when you cohabitate. One of the things that's going to happen is both of y'all are going to grow and y'all are going to learn from each other. As you are learning from each other, sometimes there'll be things that you like, sometimes there'll be things that you don't like, which may change the growth pattern of one. Because as y'all are growing, y'all may not be growing together. That's one of those things that you have to pay attention to. That growth may have nothing to do with you. It may just be the person growing. And sometimes the growth just doesn't happen and it's not sustainable. No harm, no foul. It's okay. So, and that's how that goes. But that's one of those things, like I say, when you're dealing with the cohabitation part, you have to talk about it. And you probably need to talk about it more than once. Do updates quarterly, biannual, however you got to do it to make sure that you guys are still going toward the same goal. Because getting there is the hard part. Trying to get there on the same lane is even harder because we don't think alike, and it's okay. So don't be afraid to, I want to go this way, she wants to go this way. As long as this is the goal, it doesn't matter how we get there. Because if one of us hits a stumbling block, we don't need for it to disrupt the whole relationship. So y'all ought to be able to see my super producer now, the shady looking guy with the scruffy beard.
I'm talking about scruffy beard, like you. What are you talking? Look at you, you hilarious. So you know what? I want to roll back, and I decided that I'm gonna jump in because I wanted to say something.
No, let me welcome you to the show first, sir. Let me do this. This. For those of y'all who don't know, this is Roy. It's my super producer. Now go ahead.
So I want to jump in on a comment that Aria, is that how you say her name?
Yeah.
Okay. She said she would have an issue having to stroke egos all of the time. Some men are super needy and conceited. A compliment here and there is fine, but shouldn't be demanded. So let me clarify something first off. I said that's how I am with the woman that I'm involved with. Because I wholeheartedly agree with you. That's like I tell a woman, if he's posting more than 2 selfies a day, he's real narcissistic, and if he taking that many pictures of himself, he's gonna be all into himself and stuff. So it's just that we gotta figure it out, man. I mean, we have to be able to work together in that process is the thing. And like I said, that's the whole point of knowing your mate's love language is what I was trying to say.
Okay. And again, that to me is one of those things that if you're gonna get into a real relationship, a committed, y'all should probably actively read the 5 love languages so that you know each other's love language and how to address it. Because too many times we love people like we want to be loved, not like they need to be loved, and that's where a lot of relationships go astray because you're trying to do something that pleases you more than it pleases them. Roy, like I said, if you a woman who words of affirmation are good for you, Roy's a perfect guy. And if you need something else, Roy needs to know that because he'll give you the words of affirmation, which according to the system means he probably likes words of affirmation. And this is why the 5 love languages is so important, so that you can love your partner like they need to be loved, not like you need to be loved. All right. So, and this is a huge thing with cohabitation, because can you give them what they need on a regular basis as opposed to a once or twice a week basis? Because once or twice a week it's easy because you're still in love in the beginning, you're still smitten and all the other good shit. It's easy to be all those things, but one of the things I always say about being in love, for me, I know I found the right person where we can do absolutely nothing together and we okay with doing nothing. Because some people need to be entertained constantly. I can't be with a girl who needs constant entertainment. Sometimes I just want to sit down and do absolutely nothing. I just want to sit in the bed and chill, not worry about breakfast, not worry about a TV show, not worry about nothing. We just sit and chill. We may have some conversation. We may not. But that don't work for some people. Barbara says, honesty is not always the best policy. Honesty is always the best policy, but not always present. And this is what I'm going to say about that, Barbara, because I do believe that with an asterisk. Remember, and Roy said something earlier, and I will even say the same thing. If honesty brings about arguments and violence, you will not get honesty from people, no matter how much they want it, because very few people want to continuously argue and fight. And if you want honesty, what you got to do is learn to be able to take it and put your emotions in check while you're hearing something that you don't want to hear. But no man, and this is in general, is going to tell a woman something that he knows is going to make her violent. It defeats the purpose of honesty. So, and I hear people always saying, "Oh, just be honest." But if I'm gonna be honest and you're gonna swing at me, how many people you think gonna be honest? Try it with your kids. If you tell your kids to be honest, and your kids say, "Yeah, I tried something," and you always give them a face or you punish them for it, they're gonna stop being honest with you, because nobody wants to be punished. And if every time I give you something that you claim you wanted, you punish me, it's not gonna work well, because you're gonna get them to start being. They may not lie. They'll just withhold information. They will just not bring up things that bother them, because you're either going to try to discredit them or you're going to try to shift the argument. Well, over there holding his breath, look like he about to bust. So I know he got something to say.
Yeah. So okay, you straighten it out at the end of that. Because honesty is always the best policy. Now that's the one thing that I never did, is I never was dishonest or even withheld honesty when I was upset. But, we've got to be able to, like you said, people have to be able to accept, because you know me, that's one of my things that I've been told, that I'm too free with information. But again, everything I do is with a purpose. So, even with Ray, when we was kicking it with Ray, when she was still here, I'm going to be 100% honest with you from the very beginning. Now, you might ask me a question that I'd be like, well, right now, that ain't none of your business. That's not me being dishonest. It's just that ain't none of your business. You don't need to know certain things. But 99%, 95% of the stuff you ask me, I'm going to give you a direct answer to. And I'm going to give you honesty. Like you said, if you can't, you have to be willing to accept what comes with honesty. And right. A lot of times that's going to be something you might not even want to hear. And you cannot hold people hostage with that. And you can't use a perfect word that you can't punish people for being honest. Well, Barbara says withholding and concealing is lying. No, it's not.
And it's not.
It depends on the question. If you ask me a direct question, like if you say, Roy, did you sleep with this woman? And I say, well, I ain't going to tell you that. That's a different story. Because that's a very distinct situation.
Well, go
ahead, D.
The difference is, if somebody asks you a question and you choose not to answer it, that's a lie. But when you just think it's going to come up in basic conversation, that's not. Some things you may omit just simply because you don't think it's important enough to tell. So I can't sit here and say, am I lying if I don't tell you how much money I make? Because I'm not going to just ramp up and tell you that. That's an omission. I could tell you, but what importance is it? So no, I can't sit here and go withholding or concealing is lying. If I don't tell you my bank account numbers, what is that? That's not what that just is what it is. So now when you ask me a certain question that revolves around a relationship, I shouldn't be withholding or concealing. But to just generally give you information, am I going to tell you something every time you do something bothers me? No, I don't know anybody who's going to tell you something every time you do something that bothers them. I've never met anybody who was that honest. Even Roy, who said he was honest, said 95% of the time. But nobody can say that every time they've been bothered by a significant other, they came right out there and told them right then, hey, I don't want to watch this program. I think it's stupid. You know what? You're going to just watch that dumbass program and keep going, even though you don't want to watch it. So, no, it's not. And I get why y'all trying to say it is. But it's the same. It fall on the same reason you tell your kids not to tell their grandmama that was a funky ass gift they got, because it's not what we do. Nobody intends to hurt somebody. Nobody. I'd rather you say I'm not going to answer. Okay, but that's still omission. That's still withholding. And if you saying that withholding or omission is a lie, what's the difference between saying that and saying I ain't gonna answer, Barbara? See, you can't make both of them be the same. Even if I say it ain't your business, that means I'm withholding. So, and see how you can't make them. Once you say it's lying, you got to stick with that. Everything ain't for me to answer for you. Everything ain't for you to answer for me. We ain't saying to make it right. We just saying it don't mean it's a lie. Just because I withhold stuff, I mean, hell, we all got secrets. Am I supposed to tell you every secret? No. So and I get what y'all trying to say, but that's not how it works. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm a so let me make sure I clarify, because I definitely agree with what Little Thing says. If the question is, there's a difference between if a question is asked and you just saying something, or we're in general conversation. Because see, now you're talking about where are you in the relationship too? You know, right. Where are you in the process? If we're just dating, to go to your point, if we could be on our third date, and you be like, hey, somebody, you know, young lady, I'm gonna use Yolanda because I know Yolanda. I don't know any of the other ladies in here, but if she's still there, but Yolanda says to Roy, how much you make? I'm like, well, at this point, why is that still important, or why is that important to you now? This is our third date. You don't need to know what I make. As you said, one of the ways that we're gentlemen. I've been paying for the dates anyway. So what? You ain't had to come out of your pocket. Why are you worried about what I make? So at that point, I may say, as Barbara put, well, that's I don't think that's relevant at this point. Now, if we're at a point where we are dating and we are talking about moving forward, especially in the way that my process looks, and she says, well, Roy, how much do you make? And I'm like, well, I don't know if we really need to talk about that. That's a different situation, because now we've already started commingling lives. We're trying to move towards something very specific that we're doing. So me withholding that information, while it's not lying, it becomes detrimental to our relationship. And those are the things, and that's a part of cohabitation. You know, I'm assuming you don't know how much somebody make before you start cohabitating with them at some point. I mean, because you need to know what happens if it doesn't go the right way. But yeah, I agree with you on the point that, if you can't say that omitting is lying when it's just that you're just not answering a question that somebody wants to know. Okay,
Barbara, if you ask me a question, I say that's none of your business. How is that answering your question? I gave you something you don't want to hear, and what y'all said was omission is lying. So if I don't answer your question, me telling you none of your business is not an answer to the nan question. But
that's
if I choose not to tell you certain things, that's still my right, and you have a right to make a choice after that. But you can ask me something. You can ask me something personal. But if I don't think that you're at that point, it's not a lie, because I just don't want to answer it. That is still omission or withholding. And y'all said that was a lie. Withholding is not a lie. Withholding means I don't owe you that answer. So how is that a lie? I mean, hell, somebody could say, who was the last person you slept with? When are you obligated to answer that question? Now, in a cohabitation state, you probably are. To me, you're obligated to answer that question. But a lot of it is based on timing. What's my definition of lying by omission? I don't have a lying by omission is if somebody asks me something and I partially answer the question, but I leave out the other stuff. Lying by omission. Let's say Trina say, "Where were you last night?" And we're gonna just say this for argument's sake, but let's just say I was over Barbara's house. If I say I was out with a friend, that's not lying. I was out with a friend. Omission is I was out with a friend who I was sleeping with. That's different. But when she just asked me, lying by omission. If somebody, okay, here's the best one. When I first met Trina, I was living with a woman. I never told Trina, because in my mind, people if you want to know something, you ask. I'm not a general giver of information. You have to ask me questions. If you don't ask me, I think you don't care. That's based on my experience. Lots of women don't care. They end up for what they can get or whatever it is they want. So I let a lot of that go towards them. Military, don't ask, don't tell. If you don't ask me, I'm not gonna tell you. And if I don't ask you, I don't expect you to tell me. If you're free flowing with information, you can be as free flowing as you want to go. It's not gonna make me free flowing. It's not who I am. So that's where you have to get to know the person, because some people volunteer all kinds of information, and then we came up. What did we come up with? Them 3 little initials, TMI. But they're being as honest as they want to be. That's them.
That's me.
How was that omission? I was never asked that. So, see, if I want to date you, I'm going to ask you certain questions if I want to date you. If I just want to have sex with you, there are certain questions I'm never going to ask you because I don't care. See, that's mine. So if you don't get inside my head and how I do things, you can't hold me to your standard. And that's what we like to do. We like to hold people to our standards, even though we never tell them what our standard is. So, you know, should somebody tell me if they're a drug addict before I date them? Should they? If I don't ask, why would they feel the need to tell me, oh, by the way, I use cocaine or I smoke weed? Whose fault is it that I don't know that? Is it theirs for not telling me, or is it something I asked them and they neglected to tell me? At some point, you got to ask these questions. I ask women, hey, are you married? Are you in something? Are you in love, engaged, or involved with somebody who will fight for you? Because I want to know these things if I'm thinking about being serious with them. If not, I require people to ask the most specific. No, it's only with certain things. Because sometimes you ask questions that have a lot of different answers. And if you want the right answer, I have to know what question you're asking. Because we don't all perceive information the same way. You can ask me and Roy the same question. We're going to give you 2 versions because of how we interpret questions.
Yep, that's completely true. Because I'm just going to tell you the truth from the rip. I'm going to tell you all of it from the beginning. You don't have to ask me no real specific questions. You know, well, let me change that. You don't have to ask me specific questions if I'm into you at that point. I will be. I'm that free flowing information TMI person that I hear stuff from people. So, yeah.
And as Eric said, in court, your attorney will tell you to answer only what is asked. Now, if you know my background and know that I was a cop, I'm good for answering only what is asked. I'm not going to give a lot of extra detail. I learned to do that with this show. But when we're asking, I've been taught to answer what is asked. Between being a cop, between being a former criminal, I'm not volunteering a lot of extra information. That's what some people do. I will sit back and listen to everything you got to say and not say shit. Because you share is not going to make me share. So people have to understand that. And that's why I say a lot of times we want people to be what we are, but they're not. I don't know what is paltering. What did you hear paltering at, Joseph? Relationships are not court. They don't have to be court. Again, experiences tell you who you are. My experience with dating says I'm going to come to your house and take you back home. But in this new 21st century, that's not the way dating goes. So what's right and what's wrong? I wouldn't call what they're doing today building a relationship. So again, you have to adjust for what you're doing. If so, you asked Trina those questions, but you didn't divulge you were living with a woman. It was never asked. I wouldn't have divulged it to nobody. Nobody ever asked. But when I want to know, I would ask questions. Hell, I have no shame to those that watch show that I played Pete the Plumber for the longest. When I was doing my thing, I didn't care if you had a boyfriend. I didn't care if you had a husband. I didn't care about none of that. I never even asked the question. I didn't care. If you told me, fine. If you didn't, fine. That was my world. You can't expect my world to adjust to your world without you telling me what it is you want. That's an unrealistic expectation of people to automatically think that they're going to think like you. And that's where a lot of things go astray. You can sit back and have me and Roy in the same room. Roy did a show with me and 4 or 5 other dudes about how men think, talk, and respond. We were not alike, but what we all were, we were honest with our truths. But everybody had something different. But we were all men, and we're listening to women tell us what we are, and we're showing them that as men, we're all different. Honest, we are honest in what we do, but this is who we are. This is how we talk. Well, men should tell us this. Why should they tell you that? Why should a man randomly walk up to you and tell you something negative? Well, he should tell me if he like, or all men like this. I mean, we had a single woman who was study arguing with us about what men do. And Tommy said, "You're single, right?" And she couldn't say nothing after that because they have a perception. Where y'all get these perceptions from is beyond me. Men have the same perceptions about women. And that's the problem, because we think that women are one way and we make that to be of our truth without any confirmation whatsoever. But we'll say, "Oh, I want you to be like this because my mama was like this." Well, you never dated your mama, so you don't really know what she was like. You know what you saw. Women will say, "Oh yeah, this is the way my granddaddy was," but you never dated your granddaddy. You never were in there with your grandmama and knew what was really going on. You saw what they wanted you to see, and you made that a reality based on nothing that you could confirm. That's where we get so off kilter, because we'll hold our relationships with the other people that we don't have intimate working knowledge of. We fill in the blanks for ourselves. What does the thing say? If you want to be involved with somebody, you will lie to yourself about them. They don't have to lie to you. You start filling in blanks. You expect them to unfill the blank. But we don't know that you filled in some of them blanks. We don't know what you want. As a serial dater, there's not a whole lot I was going to give out. I would tell you freely that I dated, but I wasn't obligated to tell you how many or nothing else. I wasn't obligated to tell you who I was sexing or nothing else. You got a choice. Either you want to sleep with me or you don't. If you don't, based on the fact that I won't tell you who I'm sleeping with, that's your choice. But I don't ever have to tell you who I'm sleeping with. Now, once we get the cohabitation stage, yes, in my mind, I do owe you that because we're building upon something. At that point, we've made a commitment. But at this mingling point, there's no real commitment to me. To me. And you have to ask me where my line of demarcation is. Like I have to ask you where your line of demarcation is. Roy's not a serial dater. Darren was. What does that mean? It means Roy believes in dating one person at a time. Darren doesn't. But just because Darren dated more than one person at a time, does that mean he was having more or less sex than Roy? You know what? You'll fill in the blank. Because Roy could be sleeping around and not calling it dating. But we can't keep putting our ideas and forcing them on somebody else because it's what we want. Because, and I'm using Roy because he's here now, but Roy could be sleeping with a woman that he don't take serious just to meet his physical needs. But he could be holding out for that one woman and he can let all the rest of them go. If you don't ask Roy that, is Roy obligated to tell you that? Because Roy wants to be married, but does that mean he don't want to have flings until he finds that right person? Until we ask Roy, we can't assume nothing. And what we will do is assume that he means something because he said something. But he never ever said that he wouldn't have sex with another woman. So who's to say he is or isn't? But we can't keep pushing our ideas, our motivations on other people and thinking they're going to live up to them when they don't even know what they are.
Yeah, that's need to know information.
And some stuff is above your pay grade.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting, D, when you say some of that stuff, man. But it's ultimately we have to stop making assumptions about people, and as much as we say we don't want to or that we don't do it, everybody. I'm sorry, I forgot to put it back on. Everybody makes assumptions when they first meet someone, and you have to be able to let go of your assumptions as you start to get to know someone. I think that's one of the keys. But one of the biggest challenges is that a lot of people don't want to let go of their assumptions because, one of the things that we used to say a long time ago, it's a lot of people want a certain thing, but they want it in a certain package. So let me elaborate on that. A lot of women want a man who's caring, and I'm just using it as an example, kind of on the long end. Caring, someone who communicates, and someone who is going to be attentive to them. But at the same time, he got to be 6'2", he got to make 6 figures, and he got to be Shamar Moore light skinned. You want certain things, but you want them in a certain package. So a lot of times you're going to get, and it happens in the reverse with men as well, but you're going to see a package that you like, and then you're gonna put that on that package. You're gonna be like, oh, this person is gonna do all this stuff for me, and they ain't told you they gonna do none of that stuff. But because you like the package more than you like the material or the other stuff, you're gonna look at that. And then when that person does not become who you want, they lied to me. No, they didn't lie to you. You know what our phrase is: preferences and priorities. So yeah, go ahead, D.
No, I was just saying. I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
And that's why these things are so important. But you got to let people be their own people. I mean, I talk about Todd a lot because I'm a man, and I talk about women judging us based on the other damn dude. That's what Todd stands for. You can't. Every woman wants to be treated individually. Every guy wants to be treated individually. You can't bring your past baggage, preconceptions, and all that and try to place them on me without me knowing what they are. No more than I can bring them on you. I can sit back and say, yeah, I'm going to date this chick and then tell her all these things I expect her to do because my last girl did them. She going to quickly remind me that she's not that girl. So whatever it was you had, and Trent, little things made a statement about, people won't tell you they're bad. That's a perception. You may think something I do is bad, but if I don't think it, it's not bad to me. I'm just not telling you. Because just like some people won't tell you they're bad, some people won't tell you all they're good. I would never some guys we know broadcast how much money they make. Some guys don't. Is that omission or what is that? So some guys ain't gonna say, yeah, I make $100,000 a year. They're not gonna tell you that. They're not even gonna show you that lifestyle. They are omitting a major portion because they can offer you security. Is that a lie? Or they making sure you want them for the right reasons? And a lot of us have baggage. And what's the one thing we always say? Don't judge people on their past. But you keep wanting to go there, but you don't know a lot about them. This is part of the whole cohabitation thing. You get to know each other. You can make a conscious decision. Because one thing we never talk about cohabitation, which is one of the most important things, is everybody should be saving money. So if you got to depart, you can make that divestment. Okay, so but we don't really talk about that a lot, even though I understand why people worry about it. But you still need to have, that's part of the business portion of it. You got some money, I got some money. So if one of us got to leave, we ain't stuck in a relationship because of finance. But as we're getting to know each other, this is where you learn those things that never just came out. Because Roy, and like I said, I can use Roy because he's here. Roy can tell you a whole lot more about his dating habits, and you'll ask more because he's told that he dates for a purpose. But and I'm just using Roy again, unless you start asking Roy about sex, the two aren't synonymous. So again, Roy could be having sex with multiple women who are just one night stands to him, but he's only dating serious. Sex is not dating. And until you find out whether Roy considers them synonyms, you never know what Roy's saying. I can tell you I had sex with a lot of women. I didn't date a bunch of women. And I'm a serial dater. You got to ask these questions. Those aren't for me to volunteer. And even when they are for me to volunteer, they're once we're in a relationship. The deeper our relationship is, the more I'll tell you about who I am and how I got to be there. And when we're just initially dating, you're not finna get that because I'm not finna give it to everybody I date because I don't want to everybody know something about me. And that's part of what becoming to me, growth is. I'm not finna give everybody my story. The deeper you get into a relationship with me, the more you'll learn, and vice versa. Because I would hate to meet a girl and she unloaded 30, 40 years of shit on me the first date. That's just too much. But she want to let me know everything. She want to tell me, we on the first date, we sitting at Chili's or Ruby Chews, wherever we sit. And she tell me about when she got molested at 8, when she used to steal when she was in high school, how she flunked this grade, how she flunked that grade. The first dude she had sex with, the first time she swallowed. That's too much for a first date. That's too much. Let's see if we like each other first. But is she omitting things? Of course she's omitting things. So is she lying by omission? No, she's not. There's a time and a place for everything. And It may not be on your time because sometimes people have to get comfortable with us and know that we're there for the long haul. You find out a lot more from people after an argument and y'all come back together than you do pre-argument. Because when you're in that limerence stage, everything is good. Y'all just worried about sex, food, and movies. Once that phase wears off, y'all start talking about finances and building together and moving forward. The conversations become a whole lot more serious. They become a whole lot more substantial and focused and driven. They're not all fluff. In the beginning, how many serious conversations do you have at the beginning when you first start dating somebody? Who meets and you start telling them, "Oh, I want a 5-carat ring. I want this. I want a 6-room house. I want to have 5 kids." That's gonna scare the shit out of most people.
Hey D, I'm curious, of the ladies who are tuned in and who are commenting, how many are single? Like, who are the single ones? I'm curious just to see if that makes a difference in some of the thought processes.
And unfortunately, we have to define single and not dating, single and dating.
No. So hold on. I'm gonna jump in. Hold on. I'm gonna put the camera back up for this one.
I put the camera back up, sir.
Because see, single. When I say single, I am asking, are you in a committed relationship with somebody? Does somebody think that you and them are either monogamous or at least just together? So that's what, when I say single, that's what I'm talking about. Are they single people in these comments, or are they in a relationship?
Okay, yeah. Quickly, yeah. Give your status. Are you single? Are you single and dating? Are you married? What's your full status? No omissions. Okay, Tan, you raised your hand for what? It was like 12 questions. All right, Cinnamon is single. Calandra is single. Joseph, I know Joseph is divorced. I'm not sure what Barbara is.
I thought, wasn't Barbara not the one that said they was married for like 41 years?
No, that wasn't Barbara.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. All right. Ariel said she's single, but okay, so now
y'all are hilarious.
Oh my God, see now that's okay, so that's a question. All right, what is single but?
Let me put my mask on. I feel Rona coming around the corner. Ariel, what the hell is single butt? What the hell, Ariel? Oh, public school, baby.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You still talk to your ex? Define talk to, Ariel.
Right. It's like, hello? See, we need her to call in. We need Ariel to call in, because
does anybody want to call in and talk? We got a call-in number if y'all want to talk. I forgot. See how you got me slipping?
Yeah, we get it in there. I'm like, that's single butt. You know, that's funny. That reminds me of the show that we came up with, Mr. Right Butt. That's Mr.
Right and Mr. Right now.
But so, I mean, you know, and I asked that question because, again, I was just kind of curious to see if there was a difference in the thought process of how women are answering some of the questions. That's why I was wondering about that. So.
And see, unfortunately, when you ask those questions, you have to ask them in layers, because you got the single and you got the age too, because age plays a lot into it. The older women get, what they want and what they require starts changing. And those are things, you know, asking questions now requires a lot of thought process nowadays, because you want to make sure that you catch a lot of things. Single means not married. Single means no involvement. Joseph, you trying your best to get in trouble. Joseph, we're gonna get to this prenup. It's 7:30. I'm gonna get to this prenup right now. Burden's Beast is fully single. Welcome to the show, Burden's Beast. Where you watching from? I can't with some of y'all. See, this is why I don't like having topics, because there's no way this cohabitation should have lasted this long.
Well, but you know what? It actually, when you think about it, ultimately the prenup ends up being in my opinion, it ends up being a short conversation, but it comes in or stems from this type of discussion, because the cohabitation is where you're usually going to deal with that kind of stuff.
Right. To me, it's where it's got to come up, because if we're cohabitating, you're learning more about me. You're learning. One of the things is I keep some money. I keep some money in the house for emergencies. If we're just simply dating, where that money is none of your business. How much it is none of your business. None of that stuff. Once me and Trina got together, I told her what this money was in case of emergency. To me, it's her right to know, because I want. Okay, shoot Barbara the number, Roy.
Let's see.
As my true mate now, and we're building towards something, I need for her not to have to call me if there's an emergency. I need for her to have access to emergency funds.
Hold on, D, real quick before you say anything else. Barbara, if you can, send us an inbox message for the Random Thoughts with DVP page.
Oh, just go ahead and put it on the page, right? I mean, it's 7:30.
All right, we'll put it in.
Just go ahead and comment and put it in the comment. We can always take it out. Oh, you know what the money is. You just forgot the combination. All right, that's the call-in number, y'all. 678-383-7623. Don't laugh at her, Joseph. While we wait on the call-in, don't forget, hey, get you one of these glasses. I thought she was going to come in here and showcase the rest of them, but she's slacking. She's too busy talking trash. Go to Little Things and check this out. Little Things, put your website up right quick while you harassing me. See what I got to go through?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, because like I said, the whole prenup thing it flows from this discussion. I mean, because if you're living with somebody, and that may be the question, and I know it's funny to me, one, because I knew a lot of athletes, professional athletes, so I could see them doing it. But especially when I moved to Atlanta, it was interesting for me that there were actually more women looking at it and talking about prenups than there were men. And that actually kind of surprised me. But after being here and realizing that there was such a large number of women who were executives and making a lot of money, that it was understandable that they looking at it, and some of them had been through some of these situations where dude just didn't they knew he wasn't about nothing when she got with him, but they enjoyed it, so they wanted to protect themselves. So I get it. I don't personally have an issue with a prenup, especially if a woman's making more than I am. She's CEO. Actually, the one relationship I've been in since my marriage was over, she was a CFO. She was a CFO of a Fortune 500 company. So she was making real good money. If she would have asked me for a prenup, I wouldn't have had no problem with it. And I think that's because, as we look at it, Darren, and we talked about this, I'm a man. I don't need you to take care of me. I'm like, let's get that clear. So if that's something that you're concerned with, I'll tell you in a heartbeat, baby, you can take your money and keep your money. You don't have to worry about me wanting to pull away from your money. Okay, we got our call coming in, D.
Okay, I heard that now.
Okay.
You gonna answer it?
Hello?
Yeah. So, Barbara, I think you might need to turn your computer on mute.
Okay, I will. Hold on just a minute. Give me a minute. Okay.
All right.
It's off. How you doing?
Darren?
Hey, Barbara, welcome to the show.
Hey, Darren. Thank you. Thank you very much.
What's your comment? What's your comment before I block you?
You're not going to block me because I've already blocked you. When I called, I just went on and blocked you. But I'm just saying that we were talking about the omission and stuff like that. Most people don't ask a lot of stuff during the first call. I mean, because that's, kind of pointless. You just kind of go with the flow. But if I ask you something and you respond and say, okay, I don't want to give that information, that's an answer. So that's not omission. If I ask you and you decide to tell me something that's not accurate, then that is lying by omission. And there is a difference.
But what's the difference, Barbara? You still didn't get an answer to your question, so how is it not?
I got a response to the question that I asked you, and you said you didn't tell me anything that you didn't lie. You didn't make anything up. You were honest in saying that it wasn't my business, and you didn't think it was the appropriate time for you to tell me.
So if you
And I
ask
have
me,
to go with that. I mean, I can't twist your arm and make you tell me.
so if you ask me if I'm married and I say I don't want to tell you, you okay with that? That's not a
No,
lie.
I'm not, because that's an important question if you're dating me. That's an important. I mean, there's different other than me asking you what you make, what kind of car you drive, possibly, which are really shallow questions. But being married is important if I'm dating you, because I don't want nobody coming in the restaurant and busting me in the back of my head.
Right, but you just gave two responses. Either I can say it ain't your business and you good with that, or it's omission. It can't be both of them. Now, if you saying I can say it ain't your business and you good because I answered,
But for me to be on a date with you, I've already asked you. If I'm on a date with you, I've already asked you before we went out. If you're married or if you're in a relationship, I've already asked because I don't want to go out with somebody else's man.
but if I don't
So
answer the question,
that's one of the first things. Hey, how you doing? My name is Barbara. Nice to meet you. Can I get your number? Are you married? Are you single?
so
So if you decide to omit something at that point, then that's a lie.
right. So if I omit, what's the? But you just said I could say it ain't your business.
I'm not going to go out with you if you don't answer that question. That's a simple question. That doesn't really do anything except make me know that you're telling me you're single, even though it could be a lie if you say it.
Right, I mean,
But that's one of the first questions I'm going to ask right after I ask you what your name is.
but this response, did you bring that glass to show or you bring that glass to be?
No, I think I brought it.
Y'all see that she came on my show to start violence.
Who?
Little thing, she's sitting right here next to me. Outside the camera, hit me with a glass on my bad knees.
She needs to, because you play word salad a lot on the show, so she needs to.
But see, like she said, if she asked you a question, like, I don't want to tell you that right now. I don't really see that as omission either. That should just be something you said not right now. So that is a question that can be asked later, and I might get the answer.
I'm not going to go out with you if you don't answer that question. That's a simple question.
I wasn't laughing at you. Calandra said she doesn't ever want to hear Barbara. This is Shirley. Calandra, you did wrong for that.
I asked you last night. How you feeling? You said I'm gonna be fine. I said that didn't answer the question. You said I'm telling you how I'm feeling, that I'm gonna be fine. I had to accept that.
So was that a lie or was it an omission?
It wasn't a lie. It wasn't the answer I was looking for, but it wasn't a lie or it wasn't an omission.
Okay, and see, and that's why I'm trying to get a common ground, because I don't know if y'all heard what she said, but last night, for those of y'all who relate to the show, I suffer from depression. She asked me last night how I was feeling. I said,
you said I'm gonna be
all right. She wanted an in the now answer. I didn't have an in the now answer. Is that a lie or
no,
omission?
It's not that I wanted an in and out answer. I wanted your feeling. You said I'm gonna be all right. It's like you were giving me a prediction of how,
right.
And I wanted an actual answer to the question, but you told me that's your answer.
Right. So with that following the lie omission, because I didn't answer the question, I gave a future projection.
It falls more under omission if you ask me, but I wasn't gonna push you.
Or and for that one, maybe it's just more of I don't know right now. And there are a lot of times when people answer that you don't know. And saying you don't know really doesn't work for a lot of people. Okay, Joseph, we'll work on the call quality. Did you see his thing, Roy? He said that the caller was low and hard to hear. But we'll work on that. Yeah, well, I know one of my speakers is going bad, so I'm gonna give me a headset. But
your voice got lower, D. Your voice got lower, but I was able to adjust it, so I know how to handle that.
Okay, I can hear you then, Roy. I don't know if you were talking to me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
All right, take care.
Thank you for taking the call. I appreciate it. You guys have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
We have to make sure that we understand who it is we're talking to and how they talk. And this does not have anything to do with love languages. This is just basic communication, because we don't all communicate clearly. One of the things that Trina found out about me is there are times you have to ask me really specific questions, because there are times and I told Trina this, I've had girlfriends, I've had wives that I never shared information with because I know they weren't listening to me. So I learned not to just share information, and because I ain't blaming nobody for this. This is just a life fact. Because I grew up a boy with my mother, and at that stage, the boys always taught to be tough, do this, not do this. So I always learned to internalize almost everything. And she'll tell you now, even with me watching, there's still times I internalize too much, but it's what I know. And under stress, you do what you do best and what you know best. What I know best is internalizing. So sometimes even when I need to talk, I don't, because it's still a learning process. We've been together 3 years, but I'm 54 years old. So you talking about something that has been a part of my life for 50 years. I'm better than I was. Trina would like for me to be a whole lot better. And in my mind, I'm a shitload better. But she has higher expectations. Sometimes I can't meet them expectations.
It's it's only because of what I was told, the whole honest communication thing, and that right there, I would have to say is probably one of my perceptions of when you speak honest communication. I took that as transparency. Come to find out, it's not transparency. If I don't ask you the right specific on the dot question, I won't get the answer that I'm looking for.
And see, and that's where there is a gap, because Trina is an over communicator. Trina said a lot of stuff, and I listen because I've learned to be a great listener. I learned to hear, because I can tell her things. She'll tell you, I kept notes on certain things because that was what I did. Because I want to be able to regurgitate what people say back to me and show that I'm paying attention. I never had people who really cared about what I was saying enough to pay attention, so I learned not to talk. Being a criminal makes you talk even less. So I learned to keep a lot of things to myself. Even when I had a pressing thought, if it was something that could wait, in my mind it could wait. Because that was just how I was raised. That was how I grew up. And it's hard to mesh that sometimes. Trina heard what was good in her world, and she brought it over to my world, and we had a small communication gap. And even more importantly, and one of the things that I can look back on now, I could tell Trina now, knowing, because Trina knew I was depressed, and I kept it. That was a very close secret. Should I have shared that? Probably.
You did. I just didn't understand.
Because I can tell you this, and I've talked to depressed people, and the one something all truly depressed people can agree on is we are the best liars, because we have different personalities, and we all have at least two. And there are times we don't say nothing, and we learn how to be two separate people depending on what the situation is. So even though on one hand I'm really honest, on the other hand I'm really secretive, and the two, there's no intermingling. So if you catch me on a truly depressed day, there's no you may get somebody who don't give a shit about you, or you may get somebody who's shutting down and won't say nothing. So that's one of those things that she has to learn to deal with. One day I'm gonna let her do a show about how it truly feels to live and deal with a depressed guy, because I can't speak on this. She can, and most women who I've dated could never tell you anything about this because I never even tried to open up to them because they never cared. So sometimes when she says she cared, I hear her, but my life experiences have taught me differently. So she bears the brunt of that, even though I don't mean for her to get it. She can't undo 51 years, because I've been with her for 3 years. She can't undo that overnight. She can't undo that in 3 years. And that's one of those things, we talk about. She told me some things that she was like, I can't believe, you stayed for this, this, and this. But I'm that kind of guy. I mean, I got my own demons that I never share. So I'm not going to judge you because you did some things that, you may think are bad. I'm like, she told me something that she said was bad one time. I just started laughing because I was like, is that it? I'm sitting down. I got my drink. I should have had some weed. And she told me, and I didn't even think she was finished. I was like, oh, okay. But that was, I guess, what you call it, the non-judgmental side. But I got too much shit under the bridge to be judging people. So those are the kind of things that you learn more from cohabitation. Because had we stayed apart, we probably would be in a much better place on one plane. We just wouldn't know each other as well. So you have to figure out where that balance is, because I'm sure there are times that she probably want to go back to Syracuse, but she probably want to be in the house with me. But there are times when we miss the old days. I miss the old days when things were lighter and smoother. But neither one of us had skin in the game, as they like to say. Now we both have skin in the game. We both realistically now have something to lose. When we were casually dating, neither one of us really had anything to lose. I mean, we could have missed each other, but there was nothing really for us to lose. And that brought about a different dynamic in a relationship, because now we had to look at each other more seriously. Even though we claimed to be in love, she was in one state, I was in another state. If I didn't call her for 3 weeks, what was she really missing? Phone conversation. She couldn't have missed the sight of me. We was only seeing each other once a month. So, she's trying to make me. Let me get this drink with the onions in it. Man, those some good onions. And so yeah, there's a balance thing, and there are times when it's unfortunate for either side. There are times I want more balance from her certain things, but she hasn't lived my experiences. There are times she wanted from me, she hasn't lived my experience. So we have to figure out what the balance is and how to achieve it so that both of us are in a place where we both feel good. Because sometimes we both feel good at the same time, and sometimes it's 51-49, and sometimes it's 80-20. Shit, a couple of times it's probably been 90-10. Like the other night, we shooting with that frying pan. But that's a whole nother story. I'm a victim of domestic violence. Shooting with a hot frying pan. I'm sorry, a hot skillet. See? Oh. She brought a glass for me to show. She ended up swinging at me. Who is 752?
I was actually supposed to drink from.
Oh, she's supposed to drink. I don't know how the hell you're going to drink from an empty glass. That's some straight.
I had to come. I wanted to listen to Barbara. Because me and Barbara, I was agreeing with Barbara. That's my girl.
I'm tired of you.
That's my best friend.
Okay, Barbara. You're training the best friend now. All right. We didn't get a chance to talk about prenup, so I guess we'll carry this on to next week. Joseph, I just did that to get you to come back. Because I knew you wanted to talk about prenups. I don't know why, Joseph, because I see right now you're a troublemaker. But I appreciate you helping me earlier today, and I appreciate you coming back. Oh, Barbara called you bestie. Now y'all bestie? Oh, that shit is not going to happen.
Hey,
hey, not up in here. Wait till Lee come on the show. I'm going to tell Lee how you just dumped it to the side.
D.
For Barbara, just like that.
D.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so I got a question for you since we're going to roll the prenup into a whole show on its own. Did you see the stuff that Steven Jackson, the ex-NBA player, did, talking about the prenup?
Where he went marry the girl?
Yes.
She went trying to prenup?
Did you see the video?
No. If you got to inbox it to me.
I'm going to find it. Yeah, I saw that. And it was interesting. And then I also, because I have some experience in dealing with legal matters and all this kind of different thing, she actually came back with a response to what he said, but she only did it. She put out a letter. She showed a letter, and that was all she showed. She didn't say anything else. And he was like calling names. He was like, yo, so-and-so can verify such and such and all this kind of stuff. But that was real interesting. That whole process was real interesting.
Well, and when you sit down and look at it, but based on strictly what he said, he was there right. He had told her for years that she had to sign it, and she kept pushing it off. And even though the wedding was planned, she didn't have the inbox, so he didn't show up, which was, hey. She should have did what he said. He upheld his end. So, I don't know. Hey, it's 7:54. Y'all got any questions for me? Anybody else want to call in and say something to harass me or come to my defense as I'm being ruthlessly attacked by a younger woman with glass? What's up, Weaver? But it wasn't crazy, Joseph. He told her that that's what he required. He told her this, and she still wanted to go through with the marriage. She said she was going to sign it. She said twice she was going to sign it. He kept asking for it. She kept putting it off. So she kind of invited some of that. Okay. See, that ain't allowed through omission. That's allowed through non-action.
So I'm going to jump in on that because here's the one point that he actually did make in his video that was the craziest thing about it. Especially if the prenup has already gotten to the point where you're waiting for someone to sign it.
Right.
The reality is that means that you guys have sat down, and that's what he said. We've already sat down and agreed on everything that's in it.
Right.
The lawyers and the people have already sat down and have had the conversation about what this prenup was supposed to be about.
Right.
And,
so it ain't like he was holding it hostage.
Yeah. So that was the crazy thing.
So I mean, I can't fault it. But say that for the prenup show since it's 7:56, and I know we can't talk about prenups in 3.5 minutes.
Not at all.
But we're gonna blame this one on Joseph because everything he said around with prenup. That's correct, and he was in the right. Yeah, she already knew, and he had the prenup. I'm thinking from what he said, she had the prenup for almost a year.
Wow.
No. It was some months, but it was. I think at the most when I listened to what he was saying, it may have been like he said like 5 or 6 months. She claims that she hadn't seen anything 2 weeks prior to that. That was the first time that they had anything or something. But he was like, nah, that ain't how that was rolling. He said she had it for several months, And I'm gonna let you see the video because the video is a trip.
Yeah, shoot it to me.
Yeah, I gotta find it because it's like his whole story is like 20 minutes long. If to sit and listen to him tell it, it's like 20 minutes. But he goes through it because the big issue that he had was he was wondering why, because like they were getting married in his hometown, and he was from the Houston area, and his pastor was supposed to marry them, but she came in and had all this thing about she wanted this one particular pastor to marry them, who was not a pastor from her childhood. This was somebody that a friend of hers recommended. And he was like, he couldn't understand at the beginning. He was like, why is this dude so important to you? You don't even know him. And it plays a huge part as you go back and as he gets towards the end of the story. So, yeah. It was rather deep.
All right, that's what's up. And we're going to reach out to Jokes because he said he does this thing. He does some shows. I'm gonna see what he's talking about, and see if he can give us some helpful tips. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's 7:58. Y'all know how this goes. What I would love for you guys to do is to share the show, invite your friends to like the page, follow me. Can you answer that for me, please? Follow me. I do this every Wednesday from 6 to 8. And there, I'm going to start doing little pop-up shows with stuff. I'm going to talk about the shooting and some other things. But I ain't going to make a full thing until I get all the details because I don't like answering things half-assedly. But if it's anything you want to talk about, like I say, just shoot me up. But we're gonna do the prenup conversation. We're going to start off with that next week since we didn't get to it because I can't believe y'all made me talk about cohabitation for like too long. That's right, Barbara. You be safe and healthy too. I'm still blocking you and Trina. I besties and all that. Roy, it's good to be back with you, bro. With your I ain't gonna say nothing. With your was that an omission or was that just an out and out lie? Roy ain't supposed to say nothing. He just can't help himself because the show be that good.
Hey, well, look, man. You know, I'm glad to have you back. You know, I've been like I told you, I don't blow smoke up people behind. You know, you family. You left, we started this thing, but you went and did some different things. I'm like, look, dude, I'm always ready for you to come back. So
I appreciate it. I don't want to smoke up my butt. It just sounds kind of painful.
You got enough gas.
Hey, Calandra, make sure you like the page, follow the page so you'll know when I go live.
Yes.
Area.
Let me make sure to say that too. If you came through any of the other pages, please make sure that you like the Random Thoughts with DVP page.
Yeah, like the Random Thoughts, follow the page. Like I said, that way you'll know when I go live. Rod, you ain't said nothing. All of a sudden, you're gonna jump here with Team Trina. What about Team Uncle? What about Team Uncle? Oh yeah, Joseph, and like I said, I do cop shows. You know, I'm open to everything. I'm really open-minded guy. I don't take that much stuff that serious. Hey, we all got past. We all got futures. Some good, some bad, both ways. But it's 8 o'clock. I appreciate all the new people coming in. This is our first beta test doing this format. I'm gonna have guests on the show. As you see, I can have the split screen. So we're gonna do a couple of big things. So with that being said, I want to thank y'all all for spending 2 hours with me. And y'all know the phrase peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. I didn't have my blue today because I got to go to work. But check out Little Things. Get you a glass. Get that last sip, and y'all know what it is. Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. And we out.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
Majesty is a premium health and wellness tea line focused